this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Thank you, Selkumar, for reading the preamble. Now I welcome Mr. Saintson Paul, MSW student from St. Thomas College, Thrissur, to deliver the welcome speech.
Good evening, all. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. It's always about what you can do makes the changes, and it's time for us to act. Plastics have been intervening with the ecological balance for a long time now. In 1907, the invention of backlight brought about a revolution in materials by introducing truly synthetic plastic resins. But fast forwarding 100 years, we see plastics as a persistent polluters of environmental niches, from Mount Everest to the bottom of the sea. Understanding the need and the urgency in addressing this issue, Adi Attabadi, in association with Tarumitra, a students' initiative to protect environment, is organizing this webinar on the theme Plastic Kills But Never Dies, as a fourth of the national webinar series on Ecological Leadership Development Program. It gives me an immense pleasure and joy to welcome today's resource person, Mr. Shashi Darshan, the coordinator of Tarumitra partner. He is also the communicator of Footprint, a NGO standing for efficient waste management. Presently, he is leading a campaign called I+, It's Our Time to Lead, an entrepreneur producing e-rickshaws, an explorer, teacher, and a propagator of an effective waste management system. He has his work at all areas in waste management. Welcome, Mr. Shashi Darshan, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Father Matthew Erathel, Director of ADI, who is also with us. Father Erathel is a person of great passion and energy who has been guiding ADI in all its endeavors. Welcome, Father. Now, I welcome all the participants who dedicate their time to be part of this national webinar in order to bring a change and to conserve our Mother Earth. And also, there are teachers, students, and other dignitaries who are part of this webinar. I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Saintson, for welcoming all. Now, without further delay, let's begin the session. I invite Mr. Shashi Darshan to handle the session on the topic Plastic Kills But Never Dies. So please.
Thank you. Am I audible enough?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Great. So thank you for having me for today's webinar. And it's a privilege for me to be a part and, have a conversation with the young minds here. So as we start, greetings to everyone. And before we talk about the plastic thing, let's take an overview of the COP26. It just got ended 2 weeks ago. It started on October 31st and ended on November the 12th, 2021, almost 2 weeks ago from now. So after like 2 weeks of speeches, discussions, negotiations, and protests, COP is finally wrapped up. But was anything actually accomplished at the 2021 UN Climate Change Conference like COP26? So if you ask the climate activists who attended this meeting, I believe they would likely give you a big no. But if you ask the government leaders who made sweeping promises at the summit, they would be like patting their own back. World leaders made a pledge to end deforestation by 2030 in this decade itself. And around 20 major countries pledged to stop funding overseas fossil fuel projects by the end of 2022, like next year. I'm very hopeful about it. Well, on Friday, November 5th, 2021, there's one group of students, Friday for Future at Glasgow, held a climate strike outside the COP26 venue, which drove more than like 30,000 protesters there. The people who run the fossil industry hold like some of the greatest blame for the climate crisis, right? They're the last people on the earth who care about climate crisis, but still the fossil fuel industry had 503 representatives at the COP26 meeting. So this was the biggest so far. And a much contested clause to phase out coal and end fossil fuel subsidies was changed at the last moment at the insistence of India. It offered a new formulation on the phase down rather than phase out of fossil fuels. Well, the IPCC confirmed greenhouse gases from human activities are responsible for approximately 1.1 degrees Celsius of warming since 1850 till now, like from pre-industrial era till now, and assess like 1.5 degrees centigrade of warming by 2040 in next 20 years. So when we talk about the climate crisis, climate change, we generally figure out like two major, the challenges. One is the electricity generation, another one is transportation. So, well, there are policies coming up. Many countries are making policies for, many countries are making policies for transitioning to electric mobility. Some are investing in renewable sources of energy. And fossil industry, like when we talk about the plastic, while plastic is affordable, convenient, and has many valuable uses, and we have become addicted to plastic culture, I must say. So fossil industry knows it pretty well, and they are also moving to plan B, because the petrol and diesel would not be used in next 10 to 15 years. After that, they would not be using it. They know it very well. So they're also going ahead with the plan B to make use of all the fossil fuel for plastic production. So here's a small data. As you can see, the charts, this chart shows the increase of global plastic production measured in tons per year from 1950 through 2015. As you can see, in 1950, the world produced nearly 2 million tons of plastic. At the top, at the bottom left corner, like 1.5 million tons. And from 1950 to 1970, only a small amount of plastic was produced. So the waste was not a very big challenge at that point of time. But when you see at the, at 1990s, the plastic waste generation has more than tripled in 2 decades from there, following the similar rise in plastic production. Packaging is dominant use of plastic, primary plastic, where you can see like 146 million ton, that is nearly 42% of plastic. And building, construction, that is the second largest sector, utilizing just 19% of like 65 millions per tons per year. So, as we all know that plastics are made from chemicals and fossil fuels. However, there's a new trend coming up wherein nowadays plastics are made from ethane, a byproduct of hydrofrag gases, natural gases. and ethane crackers are coming up. Like this is a ethane cracker in Appalachia. It's owned by Shell company, and it produces 1.45 million ton per annum of ethane, and it causes 2.2 million tons of carbon emission each year, 164 tons of PM10 each year, and 552 tons of volatile organic compounds each year. So here we say it is in Appalachia, and that is the in United States. So what does it has to do with us in India? Well, in India, Reliance is one of the company which has got another plant to crack ethane. It's called ethane cracker, and it has the capacity of 1.5 metric ton per annum. So a little bit more than what is with Shell. This is the largest so far in the world. So how does it work? So majorly ethane is extracted from natural gas by low temperature separate technique. It cools gas stream until a liquid fraction containing the bulk of the ethane and other gases, liquid compounds, are concentrated. Well, it sounds pretty simple. However, a separation of various condensed gases is complex, and the whole process consumes huge amount of energy. So here is data which says if plastic would have been a country, it would have been the 5th biggest polluter in the world. As you can see, the first one is China, second one is United States, third one is India, fourth is Russia, and 5th would be plastic if it would have been a country. So here we have another data set. So here we see the plastic waste generation by industry. So plastic waste generation is strongly influenced by primary plastic use, but also the product lifetime. Packaging, for example, has a very short lifetime, like single-use plastic. The lifetime is typically less than 6 months. And this is in contrast to building and construction materials, which can live up to like 30 to 35 years. Packaging is therefore the dominant generator of plastic waste, responsible for almost half of the global total. Prior to, as you can see here in this chart, prior to 1980s, recycling and incineration of plastic was negligible. 100% of was therefore discarded. Well, from 1980s, like almost we started incineration, and somewhere in 1990s, recycling started, and the rate increased on an average of nearly 0.7% per year. This is the global data. And in 2015, an estimates of 55% of global plastic waste was discarded, 25% was incinerated, and 20% was recycled only. So till last year, we had seen like almost 8 million tons of plastic goes into the ocean. Well, we had COVID, and in COVID, we used a lot of plastic, maybe for the mask, maybe for the gloves, maybe for the suit. So we used a lot of plastic in those times. And at least scientists estimate that at least 14 million tons of plastic ended up in the ocean last year at the COVID time. So here is a small break time for all of you. So I would request you to take a small break. And if you're at home, I would request you to go and ask your sister or mother to give you one, hair rubber band like this. Can you see it?
Yes, sir, we can see.
So it's a 3 minutes break, and it's a 6:20 right now. So by 6:23, all of you should be back.
Okay, sir.
Get a hair rubber band like this.
Okay, sir.
You can ask your mother, you can ask your sister, you can ask your friend if anybody has it. Santosh, have you got the rubber band?
Sir, I got one.
Great. And anyone who has got it, they should open up their videos. This is a small activity we would be doing here. Salkumar, you cannot find one?
No, sir.
Well, you will miss it.
Yes, sir.
Sir, I got one.
Great.
Sir, I got one.
Great.
Sir, I got one.
Great.
Sir, I got one too.
Great. Wonderful. So it's already 6:23. So people who have got a hair rubber band like this, they can open their videos. And if it is possible, you can keep your phone somewhere. Oh, that will work. Just mute yourself, open your video, and if possible, keep your phone somewhere stable because you would be using both of your hands for a few minutes. And I want to see what is happening there. Is that all? 5, 6 people? What about others? You couldn't find it? Well, no worries. Later you can watch this part on YouTube and you can do it yourself. So we just put this rubber band in your thumb like this and take it from the back and put it in your little finger like this. The 3 fingers, all the middle 3 fingers should be out and only the little finger and the thumb should be in this rubber band. Now you need to fold your hand like this. Yeah. Now just think this is a beak of a bird which has been entangled in plastic. You don't have other hand. You're not a human being. up from here till here is a bird. It's not you anymore. This bird is entangled. You need to remove this entanglement by yourself. Just remember, birds don't have extra hands. Or the fishes. So now try to, you cannot open the fingers. Beaks cannot open like this. Try, give it a try. Time's up. So, how many of you were able to remove it? No one? Maybe if you could have rubbed it on the table. So this is what happens with the birds and marine animals like turtles, fishes who get entangled in these plastics sometimes in their lifetime, and there's nobody to help. Sometimes they're fortunate and somehow they can get out of it, but sometimes I'll show you some pictures. They are entangled in the plastics for the whole life, and that shapes them. So this is what is happening in the world. It's not only about the human being, it's also about the other species. And because everyone together makes a biodiversity, an ecosystem, right? And only humans cannot survive by themselves. We need all the, the different stakeholders of this ecosystem. So this is what I wanted to tell you, or, so you can not tell you, like maybe you can introspect what is happening. If I just throw a wrapper sometimes, then it could be eaten or ingested by some animal, or it can be, or some animal or the insect can get trapped in it. So anyways, let's continue with the presentation. I will just share my screen again. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Great. So nearly 344 marine species has been documented for entanglement. This is not the number of animals. These are the species scientists and researchers have found so far, and they have documented it. There are many more which has not yet been documented. So almost 92 different species of invertebrates, all marine species of turtle. More than 2/3 of the seal species has been entangled. 1/3 of the whale species has been entangled in plastic or the fishing nets or the fishing lines. And 1/4 of seabird species. Almost 89 species of fishes. Well, there is more data on ingestion, like the marine animals who eat the plastic. So there are again 344 marine species which has been documented and researched. And all the marine, like they are again all the marine turtle species, they have eaten the plastic. More than 1/3 of the seal species have eaten plastic. This is a picture of whale from Philippines. Like 59% of the whale species have consumed plastic. Like 92 species of fishes, 6 species of invertebrates, 59 species of seabirds. So these all, and like the interact, this is the another part, which is not neither being eaten nor being entangled, but this is the kind of interaction wherein which impacts in the light penetration, and they don't get enough light, they don't get enough, like these are the coral reefs, so they don't get enough organic material, they cannot, these coral reefs, they generally don't move, right? So they are not able to exchange oxygen, so this is also causing problem or endangering the whole coral reef system, and it is causing a lot of problem there. It is increasing the amount of carbon dioxide in the ocean, and this is all happening because of plastic. So what is plastic? Anyone?
Plastic is a synthetic material, polymer.
Okay, but I call it a cocktail. Plastic is a cocktail. It's a cocktail of more than 4,000 chemicals, and at least 148 of these chemicals have been identified as hazardous to human health and to the environment. Some of the hazardous metals, there are like cadmium, lead, chromium, mercury, and these hazardous metals are commonly identified as carcinogens and can cause permanent changes to the genetic makeup of cell. They are PFAS, polyfluoroalkyl substances, identified to damage liver and immune system. PFAS have also caused birth defects, delayed development in newborn babies, and also death in newborn lab animals, which has been tested by scientists. Bisphenol, there are three different types of bisphenol, like bisphenol A, bisphenol S, and bisphenol F. And all of these bisphenols are commonly identified as EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals. Phthalates, 14 different hazardous phthalates compounds are commonly identified as, again, EDCs. So, well, this is a poster of one movie, Good News. Has anyone seen this movie? You can answer it.
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay. And how about this one, Wikidona?
No, sir.
No. Well, both of this movie talks about IVF, in vitro fertilization. And you can also see, like, there are a lot of IVF clinics coming up in our cities, like mushrooms. You can see it, you will find a like IVF facility in any big town in India nowadays. So why do we need IVF, centers? Because we humans are not capable of reproduction anymore. It is not happening with all of the person, but a fraction of population is challenged because they have been exposed to these chemicals, maybe anytime in their lifetime. So yeah, these are the possible causes. If a person can it be genetic? So if we say if it was genetic, the person himself or herself couldn't have been born because the parents might have having the problem. So there are environmental issues, environmental challenges. Life factors could be one. Another is the chemical exposure, like EDCs, phthalates, bisphenols, PFAS, pesticides, and flame retardants. These are the major causes. And plastic is coming up into a food chain, right? This is a new kind of food chain. And not just because of the microplastic is being eaten by the fish and then we eat the fish, that is how it comes in our body. There are multiple ways how it is coming. Another way is microplastic is in our salt. Every cooking salt has microplastic in it. The girls, they might be using lipstick, and there are nowadays which are called waterproof lipsticks. So yeah, they also contain a lot of plastic, and you put them on your lips, but this is not as dangerous as the next one, the toothpaste. So I'm sure all of you might have seen toothpaste like this. So the dots you can see, they are microbeads, plastics, and we are putting it into our mouth every day. And like through water, through coffee, through cold drink, through beer, or whatever we are consuming almost 300 grams of microplastic every year. We are also breathing it, the microplastics. We are breathing almost 250 grams of microplastic every year. And when we go to the shopping complexes, shopping malls, the amount of things you see, the n number of products that you see on the shelves there, none of them has been tested for safety of human use. None of them. So researchers have found, it is a local research of Patna. It happened in one of the cancer hospital here, and the chairman of Bihar State Pollution Control Board, Mr. Ashok Ghosh, he himself is a scientist, and he gives part of his time as a researcher in that the cancer hospital. And this is his research, which says that even our blood cells are, are contaminated with plastic. There are a lot of plastics found in nanoparticles of plastics are being found in our blood cells nowadays. And when we say that, so there's one more research which says that the scientists have observed microplastic leaching out chemicals as they disintegrate in smaller fragments and absorbed by living body. So this is the kind of issue we are going through. So there are a lot of problems with the, there also like in the placenta, microplastic has been found in placenta. Suppose if the child in the mother's womb, the EDCs are also known to interact with endocrine hormones, signaling human body. As human body organs parts communicate with each other through by sending chemical signals, chemical messages. Hormones like pathogens, progesterones, testosterone, estrogen, insulin, etc. These ECDs hack into the hormones and disrupt the functioning from mood swings to reproductive functionality. So microplastic in placenta is a very serious concern because the fetus in the womb are at the vulnerable stage, as even at the when the kids is born and up to the early few years, the kids are very much vulnerable to ECDs, and if they get contaminated, they may suffer abnormalities with reproduction health, and he or she may not be able to contribute to the propagation of human species. So these are the challenges we are going through nowadays, and all of this has been a part of research. So these are some problems which has been found so far. So in males, it says like the low sperm count, short AGDs, small penises, and scrotum, reduced testosterone, genital birth defects. Females may have low birth weight, prematurity, menstrual problems, endometriosis, premature egg depletion, early puberty, miscarriage. And for the both, you can see in the center, it says infertility, ambiguous genitals, hormone abnormalities, low libido, DNA damage in sperm and egg, and heart failure. So these are the problems caused by plastic. Microplastic is emerging as an issue of global concern. And when we say like we throw the plastic into the ocean today, so it may take next 20 to 30 years to disintegrate and become microplastic. So even if we stop today, so there is another graph which talks about like this is the macroplastic, which are like the plastic which is greater than 0.5 centimeters in diameter, and it says even if we stop today, then we'll have at least 2.5 million tons of microplastic in the ocean for next 30 years. And same goes with the microplastic, because those macroplastic will disintegrate into smaller pieces and eventually become microplastic. So again, we'll have those microplastics for like 2.25 million tons if we stop putting any more plastic into the ocean from today itself. So here is a scenario, like when we talk about the ecosystem. So when we say like, okay, human reproduction problem can be solved through IVF, but to receive the ecosystem services, we cannot go ahead and do the IVF for all the various species. That would be time consuming, that will take a lot of finances, which we need to manage in some other way. So I don't believe that would be possible by any chance. So here's a small poem that we generally, I want to share it with you. So it says, take it, break it, throw the trash away. Buy it, try it, throw the trash away. Get it, use it, finish it, lose it. Wear it, tear it, throw the trash away. Soda pop, box top, once you start, you can't stop. Buy it, show it, nothing left but to throw it. Throw the trash away. Oh no, where is the way? So there is no way. Whatever we throw and we think that if it is hidden from my eyes, it's not coming back. But yeah, eventually it will come back. It may take some time, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and it will come back into the system. So this is also like what is happening around the world. Like many big countries, the developed countries, they are trying to ship their trash to the developing nations. Earlier, the first world nations, they used to send their trash to China. Now China, since last 2 years, it has banned receiving all plastic materials or any recyclable material from foreign country. So now all this trash is going to African countries nowadays. So maybe we should say that it's time to recycle rather than just forwarding it like the forward messages on WhatsApp. So this is all I have for the day. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now it's time for discussions and feedbacks. You can ask your questions and doubts also. Either you can unmute yourself and ask, or you can type them in the chat box.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, sir. We have been living with plastic for one past century, and is it really practical to completely substitute plastic for something else, or completely remove plastic from our life?
So this is the choice that we have to make. It is not something about possible or impossible. This is a choice that we want to make. And like, do we really want our, like nowadays, there are a lot of people suffering from cancer, IVF issues, like fertility issues. Do you want to have same thing for your child? And now, when you ask this question to yourself, then you see what is possibility.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
How can we use plastic which cannot affect environment?
There is no way.
Means modified way? No.
See, there are a lot of things coming up which says plastic made from the compostable material. But at the end of the day, even the fossil fuel is compostable. It is compostable material. It's a carbon compound. So carbon compounds can be disintegrated, that can degrade. But the moment you add those chemical compounds to make it, give it a strength, give it a shine, give it a different kind of shape, different kind of, so it should not react to the environment. So when you need all those properties, you need to add those chemicals. And carbon is not a problem. We ourselves are carbon form of life. But chemicals that we are using, industrial chemicals that we are using to make plastic is a problem.
Okay, sir.
So even if you are using, the stem cells to make plastic and use those same chemicals, so those chemicals are the problem which are leaching into the human body or into the environment.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, hello.
So I have been like attending a few, like most of the last sessions, and like in the previous sessions we have talked about like removing plastic from our homes, like distributing it in the right way, like through municipalities or panchayats or something. Like we can collect the plastic in our homes and um, like we can like let them collect it from us. So I have been trying to implement that at my home like more regularly. Also, after doing that, I found that like that doesn't actually change the problem of plastic. So like we have been having these sessions for about 4 months or 5 months, I guess. And like I was thinking about it, and I thought like when we like, it was said that it's going to be a 6-month like program, like series. So when we go out from here, does the discussion end, or isn't it like wouldn't it be a good idea if we can like form a group or something to like take this forward and like see how we can implement the reduction of using plastic in our area? Or like we can form a group where we go to colleges or like places and then like conduct meetings and then like make it more aware so that people starts to implement this thing at home. Also like where we start a culture that people are more focused on reducing the use of plastic. And like we should have like a way that we can like, we may be able to find a way that we can like at least reduce the consumption of plastic in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this was the idea that I came up with when we thought of starting this program with Father Anthony.
Okay.
And yeah, however, but we couldn't ever form a group. So the name of the whole program was Ecological Leadership Development Program. So we wanted to develop ecological sensitivity among youth. So once you're sensitized, then definitely, like Bridget, you are saying that, yeah, we need to do something. We need to form a group. We need to have discussions. We need to go to places and talk to people about it. We need to go to schools. We should be talking to the government and governments. We should be talking about what kind of policies they have. Yeah, this is all we want. This should be done. So maybe are you in Kerala?
Yeah, I'm in Kerala.
So why did you take a step ahead? I am doing what I could do from here. I can sensitize you. I can give you the information. I can equip you with the information. Now it is all you have to do, fight it.
So how do we start? Like, how do we like start to do something like that? Like, or can you tell us how did you start with something like that?
I started in Tarumitra when we used to have a lot of kids coming in. We used to have like when the kids used to come to Tarumitra, we show them the place, and then we also talk about the environmental challenges that we have while moving around. We also discuss the problems. It could be climate change, it could be plastic, or whatever, which fits into the system at that point of time, and give them the problems and ask them for this. See, there is no one solution which fits all. There are many ways to handle the same problem, and different places have different culture, different kind of people are there. Jaren, can you stop talking? Or you can mute yourself. Yeah, so that is what I'm saying. You can have, you can talk to the people there, your friends, and see what can be done there. I'm always available if you need my support. So I talk to kids, they come up with the solution, they come up with the idea, and most of the time these kids come up with, insane idea, like the eco break that we were talking about. Yeah. So eco break, the idea came like, while discussion, a kid said, like, when people do wrong things, they are put into prison. So why can't we imprison these plastics?
Okay.
So we had been imprisoning plastic in eco bricks. So that was the idea. That is how it came. So definitely there would be different ideas to implement things. There are many more things that can happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can talk to your friends, and if you need my help, I'm always around.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for showing the interest. It gives me hope.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Hello, excuse me, sir. My name is Salkumar. I'm a social work student of MD College in Kundangalam, Kerala. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
As you have said, if dangerous plastic materials like materials are present in the things that we use daily, like our toothpaste and all, why don't the governments don't take any actions against this?
It's a pretty good question to ask, but we all know what kind of governments we have. Government is not sitting there to solve your problem. They have their own problems which they need to sort out. So, and secondly, government, if we are incapable of asking our governments, government will never function. So it is our duty. If we say government has a duty to work, then it is our duty to question the government. Why are you not doing it? Rather than you asking this question to me, let's together ask this question to our local politicians, or the district politicians, or the state politicians, or the country politicians. Why not? Because I am not the person. The person who is not doing it, he should be the person who should be questioned, and he should be answering it. And the problem is we never question them.
Yes, sir.
Is there any more questions? Dear participants, please feel free to ask questions. You can type them in chat box also.
Okay, let me ask one question from all of you. So as Bridget said that let's do something. How many of you would, go with Bridget? She wants to do something for the community, for the environment. How many of you would like to join her or support her in maybe to work or in any other way?
I would like to join her.
Okay. So Bridget, you have a partner here. So maybe the coordinator, maybe if you can send a message to the coordinator here with your name and number, and that can be passed on to Bridget.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Mary, can we do that? Something like that?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure, sir.
Yes, sure, sir.
So anybody who's interested in working for their community and support Bridget, kindly, you can put your name and your phone number in the chat box.
Sir, we have a question in the chat box from Muhammad Shafi. Sir, where
Okay.
does the plastic litter end up?
Okay. So plastic litter is omnipresent, just like God. It's everywhere. It's in the air, it's in you, it's in me, it's in the ocean, in the deepest trench. And if it is on the Himalayas, like, it was said, it's everywhere. It doesn't end up at, one place. It keeps moving around because plastic, they get into smaller nanoparticles, microparticles. And when the wind blows, it blows with the wind as well. So plastic is omnipresent, just like God. The only thing is it has a negative impact when the God has a very positive aura around him or her. So I have a question from Kiran. It says, there are many types of plastic. Which one is the more harmful? So the harmful, I would say, is the one with which we interact more. And the one with which we interact more is single-use plastic. So I should also put my name and number so I can be part of the team of Bridgets.
എവിടുക്ക പാഞ്ഞി മാറ്റി കേൾക്കണേ ഇത് മീശണേ
So guys, we have just 3 names so far. Anybody else would like to join in the group? Okay, yeah, now 4. Somebody was just saying something. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, just sir, I was telling you we can do it the other way around. Maybe Bridget can share her number in the chat box, and those who are interested can contact her.
Yeah, that will also be a good way. Definitely.
Yes, sir. I was just going to suggest that I'll just share my number. Give me 1 second.
So if you have any more doubts or queries, you can ask now. Otherwise, we'll just wind up the session. Shall we wind up, sir?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Shashidarshan, for guiding us all through the session. Your words have really enlightened us. Also, thank you, dear participants, for your fruitful involvement. Those who need an e-certificate, leave a message to the WhatsApp number given in the chat box. Now I invite Ms. Divya P., MSW student from Vimla College Autonomous Thrissur for vote of thanks. Divya, please.
Thank you, Ima. Am I audible?
Yes, Divya.
Okay. Good evening, all. I take this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks for today's national webinar. I would like to thank Mr. Salkumar, BSW student, MT College Thrissur, for reading the preamble of Indian Constitution. Next, I thank Mr. Saints and Paul, MSW students from St. Thomas College Thrissur, for delivering the welcome speech note and also handling the PowerPoint presentation. Thank you, Saints. I extend my gratitude to our prominent resource person, Mr. Shashidarshan, Tarumitra partner, for making an excellent presentation on topic plastic is but never dies. It was so good. It gives a better understanding about how plastic poses threat to the Mother Earth. Thank you, sir. Next, my sincere thank for Dr. Matthew Rathel, the director of ADI, who has been supporting us for success of the webinar. Thank you, Father Rathel. I would like to thank Ima Mary Jose, MSW student, Vimala College Thrissur, for moderating the webinar. Next, I thank Father Refin Kamalestre, the coordinator of Tarumitra Attapadi. Next, I would like to thank Mr. Vipillal, the coordinator of ADI, and also thank Ms. Ria Susan, the counselor of ADI. And I thank all teachers, students, and who have actively participated in the national webinar on ecological leadership development program. The special thrust on the theme plastic kills but never dies. Thank you all. Have a great time.